Why did you join pubs? Why did you want to join the class?
Uh, well, my freshman year, I was in just regular English. I was kind of misplaced heading into high school in English wise. I ended up getting like a 90 something in the class, and my teacher thought it would be like, okay, you're really good, or you're pretty good at writing. There's this class, newspaper, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. Let's see what it's all about. I joined heading into my sophomore year as a rookie, and I immediately got my feet wet, became the movie reviewer, and been writing articles ever since.
So how did you get like used to the class? Because like it's not your typical class. Like how did you handle the workload and how things are run?
Um, it was definitely an adjustment at first. The advertising was probably the most difficult part for me because I couldn't sell ads to save my life. And as far as writing articles and stuff, uh, it was an adjustment to go up to random people you don't know and start talking. But obviously, it allowed me to open up as a person and show a little bit of leadership. And that's really a lot of what pubs is it helps build some sort of professional social skills as well as prepare you for the workforce out there because a lot of working is by or learning is by doing out here.
So why did you want to be an editor like later on once you were used to the class?
Well, I wanted to be an editor because I, I, my rookie year, the editorial board, they were rock stars to me. They were so cool. Jake Sanchez, Tara Grimes, Felicia DeJong, Val Geffen, Alex Marscal Glenn. They were such rock stars, and honestly, I applied for a couple, or like on my list was a bunch of editor positions, but the one that stuck out the most to me was opinion, because I really enjoyed allowing other people, not just myself, but like I think through the topic, whatever the topic might be, allowing someone else to voice their opinion who isn't normally going to be available to voice their opinion and incorporating that into your story is one of the coolest things ever. It's
Mm-hmm.
such an interactive way of journalism.
Said, why did you love opinion so much for yourself?
It was it was something you had to be intelligent in order to make a good article. With news, here's a bunch of facts. Go. With sports, go report on the game. With this, you have to understand all of what's presented to you and create your own thoughts. That was that's something that really stuck to me and I enjoyed every second of it.
So how did you learn from the editors and chiefs you were under? Like what did you learn from Alex, from Jake, from Caitlin?
Let's see. Jake Jake taught me a lot of it. It's a grind that you're definitely going to have to put yourself through, but it's one of those situations where you'll get to taste success at the end and it'll all be worth it. And this is a program that deserves 100% of what you put into it. Under Caitlin, I definitely learned a lot about creativity and the balance between the creative form of journalism and the hardworking form of journalism. She had a larger emphasis on making things look presentable while still giving giving a lot of yourself into the articles that we publish on a monthly basis because honestly your section reflects you. If your
Mm-hmm.
section is terrible, then you are responsible for that. Alex kind of capstoned everything where she basically taught me that everything is going to work out no matter what. We were under such pressure as seniors to do right by Brown because we were playing with a loaded deck. Almost every single one of our editors were seniors who had been in the program for at least 2 to 3 years, and we knew that Brown deserved a championship more than anyone. Unfortunately, we were never able to give him what he deserved, but it's I feel like our greatest success of that year was teaching the rookies as much as possible because honestly, you need to invest in your future when it comes to pubs.
So what do you think your like most prominent article was that you've written?
I did a story my senior year on the U.S. history curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a cumulative curriculum that was created by Mr. Sauce and Mr. Nixon at the National Social Studies Convention in Houston, Texas. And that one was really cool. That was the first time because for my 18th birthday, my parents gave me a voice recorder. That was the first time I used it, but the article really came together and it was put on the front page.
So what do you think the most controversial column you've written was?
Rodrigo started a bit of a stir my senior year when he was my columnist, and he decided to basically lambast the entire physical education department, saying that PE is a joke that shouldn't be mandatory.
What'd you do to like change your section design wise from the previous year when you first took over?
Um, I I kind of made a commitment over the summer at University of Iowa. I was like, I need to come up with some creative way because last year looked very basic. My
Mm-hmm.
junior year, it looked incredibly basic, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna redesign things, come up with new ideas, any creative concepts, any old ideas that you can redesign. It's always really important to keep things fresh from year to year.
Talking about Brown, what have you like taken away from his class that you apply now at Missouri?
Hard work. You have to be dedicated to whatever you do. You know, if you're not into something, then you're not into something, and Brown will understand that because there are people that have dropped Brown's class, and I'm sure he thinks the world of them still because he is that kind of person. Sometimes pubs doesn't work out, sometimes it does, but if you give 100% of yourself to Brown in that class, you will reap the benefits, and he will have your back no matter what, because that is the type of person he is.
Kind of an impact do you think you made on the program yourself?
Our greatest impact on the program was anything that we had taught our rookies because they were what was most important. Because in a program like pubs where success can vary from first to eighth in state year to year, you need to invest in your future. You need to make sure the writers and designers are competent enough to handle the task at hand and pump out award-winning stuff year to year.
What kinds of things did you tell your rookies? Like, how did you try to train them and prepare them for the future years?
A lot of it is trial by error. It's a lot of sink or swim. Like, okay, this is how you're going to do stuff. Let me see what you can do, and then I'm going to work with you from there. So you go out there and report. Keep reporting. Don't stop. Take what you have. Like Brown says, you know, here's a bunch of clay. Now let's mold it.
Tell me about Missouri. Why did you choose to go there?
Tara Grimes, former features editor of the paper when I was a rookie, she went here, and she had always told me like how amazing the journalism school is and stuff, and how incredible the campus is and this and that. And so I just applied without visiting. Just
Oh,
yeah, I applied. I applied here. I applied at the University of Iowa. I applied at U of I and UIC. And I had figured out like it gotten to the point where it's like February and I'm like I have to pick somewhere. I'll just pick Missouri. I still haven't visited. No big deal. So come March, I want to say March I visited. Fell in love with this place and I immediately got involved with different types of journalism here. My first semester here, I worked for a TV show called The Prowl. It was an entertainment news show. I hosted an episode and did a few movie reviews for them. The next semester, I decided to go to the radio station. I am currently student teaching at Jefferson Junior High and involved at the Boys and Girls Club in Columbia.
you're pretty involved in multimedia. Is that the kind of field you want to go to, like broadcast journalism, or do you want to stick to like print and online?
I actually switched my major to English. I took a bunch of creative writing classes when I was here, and then I determined to myself that I was only a journalism major because I was at the University of Missouri, and not because I necessarily wanted to be a journalism major.
Hmm.
So I switched to English with emphasis in creative writing, and it's been incredible ever since. However, I kept my ties to journalism. I run a podcast website. On my site, they write columns for me. I basically edit and publish them. Um, I also had an internship for a while at Daytime Confidential and PopConfidential.com.
Tell me about like what you think of The Voice in comparison to like other high school newspapers. What kind of legacy do you think it has?
It has enough of a history in its 15th year that people, you go somewhere, people know the Huntley journalism program. They know them. I have friends that went to, Lake Zurich or Stevenson or Naperville Central, and they know Huntley journalism. They know the gravitas that is behind it, and they know that if you graduate from the Huntley journalism program and you're going into journalism, you have been given the tools necessary to succeed on another level, and that's all because of Brown.
What else you want to add about like The Voice's legacy overall?
Uh,
Anything about Brown?
Brown's pretty incredible. I don't know where I would be if it hadn't been for pubs and newspaper and just all of it. It's been an incredible ride, and I hope the ride continues and he continues to succeed and acquire the championship that he deserves. He really does. Because, in all honesty, we wish we could have given it to him. We really do. I'm hoping that he gets it sooner rather than later, because with high school journalism being in a state of, you can go from first to eighth year to year. Who knows? You only have so many chances, and you never know when the chances are going to run out.